every element of I'm getting confused. A naught is dividing u naught from this equation, that's what we conclude. And what is the implication of that? The implication of that is that every multiple of u naught is now also a multiple of a naught, which means that since multiples of u naught constitute capital U, so capital U is also a subset of capital A. This implies we are writing directly U is a subset of a you know y. Okay, we have just argued how it becomes a subset of A. This implies this. Combining this with this relation, we have A equal to U. So one of these two things happens. If U is containing A and is itself of course contained in R, then either U is equal to R or A is equal to U, and that just tells us that A is maximal. Oh, but there is one more thing. Before we conclude that A is maximal, we have to make sure that A is a proper ideal, because by definition every maximal ideal is a proper ideal. Can you guess why A is a proper ideal? It's because you see okay, shall I leave that to you, or it involves the fact that A cannot have a unit in itself, so that it is not equal to the whole ring R. Keep in mind that the converse part is happening with this assumption that A naught is a prime element. So I leave that to you. Your hint is that A naught is a prime element if it happens that our capital A has a unit in it, then primality of A naught will be contradicted. Note that, so we just simply mention the fact like this and you supply the details. Note that since A naught is a prime element, A is a proper ideal. Why? You have to answer this why in the context of our proof, okay, not in general. In our proof, this implies that capital A has to be a proper ideal. Thus, capital A is a maximal ideal of R, and this completes the proof. Not only is A naught, the generator of capital A prime element if capital A is a maximal ideal, but if A naught is a prime element, then also capital A is a maximal ideal. So we have proved both the parts, and this completes the proof. Now actually that ends the theory part of this section. After this we have the exercises. But before I end this video, let me just mention one more thing. You try to look at this. My statement is this: every field is every field F, let me also denote it by a symbol, is a Euclidean ring where D of A is equal to 1 for every A not equal to 0 in F. Every field in particular is a Euclidean ring with this type of D function, which is a constant function. How is this true? Let us see. First of all, is every field an integral domain? Yes, it is. Every field is an integral domain. Then we have to check two conditions in the definition of our Euclidean rings. The first is that if I take two non-zero elements in the field, is this true? For this particular D function, this is actually true because the left hand side is 1 and the right hand side is also 1. This is a true inequality. This inequality, actually what does it say? It says that either 1 is less than 1 or 1 is equal to 1. It's a disjunction of two statements. One of them is true, the other is false. Anyway, the disjunction is true. So this is true. So our first condition is satisfied. What about the second condition? If we take two elements in F between which B is non-zero, does there exist Q and R for which that division, the Euclidean algorithm type of thing is true? Let us see. How about we write like this? A is equal to, so we have to write A as a Q times B plus R for some Q and R. So what we can do is this, we can write A like this, A B inverse times B plus 0. This is our Q, AB inverse, and this is our R. Note that we are able to write like this because B is non-zero and we are in a field. So B has a multiplicative inverse. R is equal to 0, so we don't have to check the other condition which says that the D value of R is less than the D value of B. And we don't bother about that because R is 0. And that's it, we have expressed A in this form. So every field is a Euclidean ring. Okay. Now, what is the maximal ideal in a field? What are the maximal ideals? Does a field have prime elements? Okay, that is one question. If I am given a field F, does it have a prime element? You take any non-zero element in the field, it's not a prime element, it's a unit. Okay, every non-zero element is a unit because it has a multiplicative inverse. So fields are devoid of prime elements. Fields are Euclidean rings where prime elements are not there at all. So can we still have maximal ideals? Yes, we actually have a maximal ideal which is the zero ideal. It's because anything outside of this ideal, if we try to have any other ideal which has a non-zero element, then that ideal will contain a unit also, and that will force that ideal to be equal to the field. Okay. So this is maximal in F. Is it a principal ideal? It has to be, because F is a Euclidean ring. It is a principal ideal because it is being generated by 0. So this particular result has not been captured by us, or what? That's what I am thinking, because we introduced the additional assumption that A naught is not equal to 0. So this part actually has not been captured by our theorem or proof. So I think what Herstein did was right, although the proof was not correct. There are some inconsistencies in the proof regarding the fact that A naught may be 0 for him also. So the way we have stated this last result, there is nothing wrong with that, and also there is nothing wrong with our proof. The only thing is that this is one extra condition, extra case, where we have a Euclidean ring and we have a maximal ideal which is not being generated by a prime element, because there is no prime element. But this case is an extra special case. So in this case also, there is some semblance of what we have here. The only thing is that prime elements are not appearing. So yes, okay, now I get the point. Because we are saying that every ideal in a Euclidean ring is a maximal ideal if and only if it is being generated by a prime element, that statement as such is false. It will be true only if the element that we are considering is non-zero, because this is a counter example. Any field is a Euclidean ring where the zero ideal is a maximal ideal, but it is not generated by a prime element. So to get rid of this contradicting example, we have restricted our statement by assuming A naught to be non-zero, so it is correct. So what we have done is correct. So with this, the theory part of this section ends. After this, we will have the exercises.